What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cut to the Chase podcast. In this episode, I'm touching on everything from the TikTok ban to Nelly to Snoop to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and everything in between. So buckle up, tune in, enjoy the show. Now, don't forget, if you have not, please subscribe to my YouTube at Cut to the Chase Live. Enjoy the show. Ciao. What's up, y'all? Look, so much been going on, and we gonna cut right to the chase. So first, let's talk about the TikTok ban. Not for real, for real. The way people were going crazy about the TikTok ban really blew my mind. Like, I understand that, obviously TikTok has been instrumental in people creating new job opportunities and all of those things. But oh my God, like some of the things that I saw one guy was literally had his hands raised praying to Trump he said, Trump, if you hear this, please save TikTok. I even saw where police was like, they were getting a lot of 911 calls from kids asking what could they do to save TikTok. So people obviously love TikTok. Now, I be on TikTok, but not necessarily to post content. And obviously, I'm going to start doing it if it sticks around there. But pretty much I like being on TikTok just to scroll the night away when I'm just laying in the bed, not really doing much. But people were up in an uproar about TikTok being banned. And the craziest thing about all of this is obviously our newly elected president pretty much having them to pretty much word all of this stuff on there like, thanks to Trump. Like, I thought that was kind of weird and really weird because the ban got started because Trump, and you know this, Trump the one started it. He felt like that TikTok should have been banned a long time ago. So he started that. And now, I don't know, to me, it seems like a ploy. That's just me. To be one of those things where, just like with the stimulus checks, that he wanted to hold those up until he can get his signature on them. I think it's this same type of ordeal just so he can try to say, hey, I did this for you guys. But nonetheless, TikTok is back up and running as I filmed this video. Clearly, it was only banned for all of 20 minutes. So I'd say, child, the TikTok ban that wasn't really a TikTok ban. It just seems like a political stunt. And based on what I've been researching and reading, it was definitely a political stunt. Now, I'm going to tell you what threw me. What threw me was I didn't know about CapCut. Baby. CapCut, that hurt me. Now, I'm going to tell you why, because I literally just started using CapCut as I started this podcast. It's a great editing software. So literally, I just got it a couple weeks ago. So y'all know what I did. Babe, I requested that refund so fast because I paid for a whole year. But I got my email today that they were refunding me for the purchase. But nonetheless, I did like CapCut, but I did not know that CapCut was owned by the same company that owns TikTok. And so looks like Trump was going to try to use it as a negotiation leverage. He says that he feels the U.S. should own 50% of it. God. Y'all, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And so on the note of Trump, it is a lot of talk going on with like a lot of artists right now. Surely you have heard about Nelly and Soulja Boy and Snoop Dogg and Rick Ross performing at some of the inauguration events. Of course, people's opinions on this is based on where they sit politically. So for me personally, I don't necessarily judge these particular performers for choosing to participate. However, I do think they also have to be prepared for what comes of that. Because at the end of the day, when you are a public figure, and this is my opinion, when you are a public figure, I mean, your paycheck is dependent on the public and how they support you and what they do. And I do think that you can have How can I say this? I do feel like you can have your political views, even if they are different from, the people who write your check. And again, this is really a slippery slope because I feel like people should be able to support and do what they want to do. However, also I do think like you gotta move in a certain kind of way. And maybe that's not a fair statement to make, but I do feel like you have to move in a certain way. Um that one that lets your audience know that, hey, I hear you and I understand you, but also this is why this moment was important for me to do this A, B, C, D. I think it is way more palatable. Y'all know I'm gonna mess up some words now, but I think it's just easier to digest from a person to say, look, I hear you, I feel you, and I understand you, but maybe, I feel like this was a big moment to have to be able to perform for a president. And I think that's a lot easier to digest. But to get on social media, and I'll start with Soldier Boy, all of that riff raff for what? For what? We've been cranking that Superman for you for years now. So don't get on there talking about we ain't putting no money in your pocket. Sir, you're able to go there because of what we have done for you as supporters of you. So that stuff like that, I just feel like it's like really you feeling guilty about it, but you got to get people up off you. So yeah, I didn't like the way he did that, but again, like it's his prerogative to move how you want to move on there. It just wouldn't be something that I would have done. Nelly said, "Are y'all talking about the candidate Trump or President Trump?" I'm like, child, hell, are they different? Are they different? So I don't know. I just think in those moments, like if I was going to speak up, now I haven't heard anything about Snoop or Rick Ross making a comment about anything. And quite frankly, if I was them, I wouldn't say nothing. I wouldn't say nothing because people gonna forget. But the people ain't gonna forget Nelly and they ain't gonna forget Soldier Boy because they have opened that mouth. So if I was Snoop and if I was Rick, if they haven't shared at this point, I wouldn't say nothing because y'all gonna forget. Y'all definitely gonna forget, and y'all gonna move on. So I wouldn't have said anything. Nelly, just his explanation, like he was trying to wrap it up in such a philosophical way. He was trying, but again, like you're preaching to a group of people who feel oppressed. So like all of that you talking, it's not gonna go over well. So I think if your message isn't I hear you, I understand you, and this is why I made the decision to do that, I just personally I wouldn't say anything at all. Because I mean, we all know how Chris and Michelle, baby, y'all took that baby through the Wrangler. Yes, y'all did. And when I tell you I love Chris and Michelle, I love her. And y'all took her down through there because of what she done when she performed for Trump's first term. And so, it makes you question a few things. One, it makes you question, will these guys receive the same kind of backlash, which they have been receiving a lot of backlash, but would they receive the type, because Chris said her career was demolished. Like demolished her career was. And so it makes you question, like do we really treat men that much different than we do women? I ain't saying we do. I'm just asking a question. Do we? And will the backlash from this for them be as dramatic as it was for her? I don't know. I can't tell you, I don't think it will be. I don't. I think y'all gonna forget, either one, gonna forget, or two, y'all are gonna be more forgiving to the men. I really believe that. But we shall see. So yeah, I haven't heard anything from Snoop. Now I have seen people circling around a video of Snoop pretty much calling people during Trump's first term if they was going to perform him, calling him a jigaboo and things like that. But yeah, I guess, people evolve. Soldier said Trump put a band in his pocket, so he ain't even worried about that. So hey, Trump is already Trump at this point of me recording this, his first day haven't even started yet, and he already, baby. He already with it. So we can only see where we go from here. I mean, at the end of the day, I am optimistic. I am optimistic about, where we are. And I try to stay optimistic just because, like, you don't want that kind of energy, that negative energy kind of weighing you down. Obviously, for those who supported Kamala, their election cycle was really like, that was rough. That was a rough election cycle for sure. So, but I'm trying to stay optimistic. I hope you all are staying optimistic about it. And yeah, so we're going to see where we go from here. But I really do believe, as far as it relates to Nelly, Snoop, Soldier, Rick Ross, people going to forget. And they going to go on and they going to do their thing. And I don't think it's going to be as drastic as it was with Chris said, Michelle, by a long shot. All right, let's keep moving on. Let's keep moving. So there is a very viral video going around of a minister, and let me get her name right, Christina Java, where Sister Girl literally almost verbatim, and I'm going to say alleged, because child, I told y'all I don't need nobody coming after me about nothing. But allegedly, she stole the sermon of Bishop T.D. Jakes. And literally, the sermon sounds verbatim, bar from bar. Bar from bar. And so when I first listened to it, I was just like, I mean, a mean side eye. Because it was so performative. And you know what? That's what y'all get. That's what y'all get. That's what y'all get. And right now I'm talking about the Black church. And some people may not like what I'm going to say, but the church has become so performative. So performative. And if the person can hoop right, if they can get you moving just right, like y'all in. I mean, the whole congregation was going up. And I wouldn't be able to get to, because I could tell, you can tell the energy of it was like performative. Sometimes you got to walk by yourself, and honey, if you broke, honey, you gonna be broke, honey. Girl, ma'am, you're doing the most. And now, here's the kick. This goes public, whatever. This goes viral. And instead of Sister Girl getting online saying, I was so moved by this and blah, da, 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 da. Sister Girl then got on here and gave up a whole post about defamation. But she said, y'all would not defame me. Not no thank you, Bishop, for the inspiration. She said, y'all would not defame me. So, I mean, to me, it's a bit much, but I mean, it's just like Melania stealing Michelle Obama's words, her speech verbatim. Like, we magic. That's the best I can tell you. We're magic. But I do hope she find it to circle back around with that thing and give a man his props. But yeah, y'all create these kind of monsters. Did I call that baby a monster? She's not a monster. I don't even know her like that to call her a monster. So not a monster. Not a monster, but I feel like we create people like this comfort level of people to be able to do these type of things because we see it as good that I'm just going to say it. Like, it's almost like it's some type of validation that a white person can come into our space and do that. Right? And the people who get what I'm saying, like y'all get what I'm saying. I'm not even trying to go there. But like, I don't know. I just think that I don't. That's really a touchy subject, a touchy subject about the church, and I don't really want to touch on that by myself. That was something I want to have on a conversation with somebody on the couch with me. Um, but yeah, church has become perform like literally like I have seen where people be holding up their cell phones while they shouting, child, recording themselves while they shouting. It's too much. It's too much, baby. Get the word and get on up out of there. That's too much. Speaking of the church, baby, the Omega Sci-Fi and got them a new member. Pastor William Murphy pledged Omega Sci-Fi, and let me be very clear: I don't have no problem about a preacher pledging anything. Matter of fact, I am a part of the D9 Blue Phi. So William Murphy pledged Omega Sci-Fi, and he had a probate. And somebody posted a question on social media and said, "At what age do you not probate anymore?" Now again, I ain't judging the man. I understand it may be something that he's always wanted to do, and he finally had the moment to do it, and he wanted the full experience. However, at my big age, I'm not probating like that. And it, in my opinion, it was cringy to watch. It was cringy. Yeah, I personally wouldn't have done that. But again, like some people really look forward to those things. A lot of people don't get to do it in undergrad like they hope they would be able to. So they kind of look for that same experience. So I do understand that. It would be very interesting to hear like the people who denounce being in fraternities and sororities for religious purposes. I bet you they running amok right now. But yeah, it was very interesting seeing Pastor Murphy, child, in that type of setting. And when I tell you he did that little head shake, I said, Lord, don't let that man stick out his tongue. Don't stick out your tongue. But he didn't, I don't think he did. But so what y'all think about that? Like, do y'all think there becomes a certain age where you kind of not do that anymore? Or do people just live their life and do what they want to do? I say live your life and do what you want to do. Now, understand, you know, people gonna have opinions about it, but who care? Everybody got an opinion. Clearly, I got a million opinions, but they just mine. So let's move on, and I'm gonna wrap this up on a light note, and talk about some housewives stuff. Y'all, I am a housewives junkie. I love so many different franchises, but tonight I want to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. My God. When I tell you this season was so iconic, it was so iconic from episode one. Episode one, them girls were clocked in. I mean, just chaos, drama. First of all, I wasn't too sure if they were going to be able to bounce back from last season because, baby, Monica came in there and shook it up. She shook that shit up. But this season, they brought in two newbies, which was Bronwyn and Brittany. Bronwyn, that's a fashion girl, but in a different kind of fashion girl. Like, she ain't your average kind of fashion girl. I liked Bronwyn all the way up until towards the end. And honestly, I'm still rooting for Bronwyn because I think this is her first season, right? So I do think like after they do their first season, like they get a lay of the land and they know how to move when they get back. And I think that's been the story of Angie K. And we'll get to Angie in a minute. But Bronwyn, I loved her all the way up until towards the end when I feel like she was instead of riding on Lisa coattail when I feel like Lisa, girl, don't give a damn about you. But for whatever reason, she felt like that. I guess that's where her loyalty was with Lisa. But there's no way that I would have got back in good graces with Whitney and Angie and then turn around and go tell Lisa exactly what they told me. Bronwyn, girl, that was craziness. Also with Bronwyn, her husband is a little iffy to me. I don't know. It's something about him. It's something about him that I don't know what it is. I don't know, so I ain't gonna even touch on that. Now let me talk about Brittany. Brittany is the other newbie. And matter of fact, I don't even think Brittany was a full-time cast member. I think she was a friend, but baby, Brittany brought the funny, because some of the things that would come out her mouth, like you would know that she's really being very serious about it. And everybody else would be like, Mary was like, girl, are you okay? Brittany requires a lot of attention. She needs the attention, and when you don't give her the attention, she gonna let you know that you ain't giving her the attention that she needs. But her and Brahman were two great access to the cast. And there was another girl that was added in, but I think we only saw her like maybe 1-2 scenes maybe. But nonetheless, Mary Cosby, this was her season. Mary has evolved so much, and what I love about her is, although she has evolved, who she is as a person, she really hasn't changed. Like, she still has that quick wit. She knows exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And she don't even say it the meanest things, but she just has a way of having the right timing of what she's saying, that shit cuts deep. It cuts. And so I love that Mary has evolved into this person where she actually seems a little more softer, but she's still holding her ground. I also love the moment of her opening up about her son's struggle. And one thing I loved about that is, in which I wish other cast people would get in other franchises, that you take the thing that you feel that's going to be embarrassing for you, for people to find out. You take that, you grab a hold to it, and you control the narrative. And that's exactly what she did by not holding and not hiding that really, I would say, really important fact about her journey as a mother, of dealing with the son that's struggling with drug abuse. So not hiding that from the viewers and taking that on and navigating that and controlling that narrative, I think was so smart of her. It was so smart of her doing, and I think it would help so many people. Because of course there's something that millions of people struggle with. And obviously there are a lot of caretakers out there that have to deal with, children and family members who are struggling with drug abuse. So good for her. Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. That was amazing. I also love her and Angie K's relationship. That was a friendship that I did not expect, but it was so good. Like, I hope that relationship stands the test of time. And when they had that hiccup at that dinner, my heart crushed, because I was like, no. Like, I really enjoyed their friendship. And in that moment that they had at the table, like, you can tell that was a genuine moment. And so I'm excited for both of them. Angie K, baby, run her things. Give Angie her things. Because Angie done found herself on this cast. She done found her voice. She speaks up. She's spitting. Now, I will say now, Angie, out of all the text that was read, yours was the meanest. You had the meanest text. And when I tell you she ate Bronwyn up to pieces, my God. Lisa thought she had the worst one. No. Lisa didn't have the worst one. Poor Bronwyn to have to sit there and read that. And I'm gonna talk about that too when I'm wrapping this up, about how I feel about that last scene. Heather, to me, was just, I guess Heather said, like, y'all girls that made me work so damn hard these last few seasons. Y'all got to do this. Cause she didn't really give much this season. She was really just coasting by to me. Whitney, baby, Whitney grabbed Lisa by the hair and would not let her go. She would not let Lisa go all season. And you know what? She won. She won because she brought the chaos at that last scene on the finale. Yes, she did. So I feel like that was Whitney's biggest thing. Like, we didn't really get much about her family like we normally do. This season, it was about her going after Lisa ass, and she conquered that one for sure. And I do think that even though hers wasn't the worst, I think she intentionally made Lisa read that out loud because she wanted to get at her ass. And that's exactly what she did. And baby, she got Lisa so bad, Lisa started talking about everybody else's. Lisa started talking about everybody else that didn't have nothing to do with the text. That's how bad that darn Whitney had lit into her. And I will wrap up with this about that final scene. You can tell that that was something their production came up with. I do not think Heather created that idea to do the burn thing again, to read the text out loud. And I kind of, in hindsight, now don't get me wrong, in the moment, baby, I was glued, eyes wide open, like, oh my God. But in hindsight, I do wish that Heather would have pushed back on that if this wasn't her idea. If this wasn't her idea, I do wish she would have pushed back on that. Just because I feel like, here's the thing, one thing that I really love about their franchise is that they fight and they bicker and they throw the shade, but they don't let it fester so much until it becomes dark. And I think that's what happened with a lot of different franchises. They fight too hard and don't really reel it back in, and it becomes too dark. And for me, it's not really enjoyable to watch. So I kind of wish that Heather wouldn't have went there with this particular exercise with the text messages, just because you can kind of see where it was starting to get a little too dark. But hopefully those girls reel it in, and hopefully they bring us another season of iconic TV just as they did this season. I'm looking forward to the upcoming reunion, and the looks look great. And I don't know, I think Housewives of Salt Lake City are taking the crown for all the Housewives franchises. Those girls had an amazing season. And I mean, it's really been good since season 1. And I finally got my friend Kel to watch it and get into it, and now he hooked on it, and I'm trying to get him, well, I ain't trying, I think at this point we're gonna make it happen, where we are actually reviewing different reality shows together and giving our feedback, and of course getting you all involved too. So stay tuned for that. So y'all, that's all I got for the rundown today. And listen, all of this stuff just came literally in the last 2-3 days. Baby, 2025 is here. And when I say here, remember I used to say her. Like Glorilla her. And 2025 ain't playing already. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Look, if you have not, go follow my YouTube page at Cut2TheChase Live. That's at Cut2TheChase Live. Y'all subscribe, share, like, comment. Help me build this up, child. Come on now. Y'all help me out. So until next time, ciao.